Michelle Jordan of Sunland, California, claims that the Los Angeles Police Department used excessive force after they stopped her for a routine traffic stop. Let's take a look at the video and see the way these two police officers treated her when they stopped her for using her cell phone while she was driving.
Officers began speaking to the woman outside her car in a Del Taco parking lot in Tujunga. It is unclear why, but suddenly the officers take the woman down, slamming the 5'4", 34-year-old mother to the ground. They then take the woman over to their patrol car. Now, while she is in handcuffs, one of the male officers grabs her again and slams her to the ground. After placing her in the back seat of the patrol car, it appears the officers give each other a fist bump, a kind of high five. The woman, Michelle Jordan, mother to a toddler and a registered nurse, suffers bruises and scrapes to her face and shoulder. She also faces charges of resisting arrest. But tonight, her lawyers say this video proves the only legitimate criminal charges to be brought are against the LAPD officers who made this brutal arrest.
I'm really glad that those officers body slammed her because they were in imminent danger. This 34-year-old unarmed woman was extremely dangerous, and since she was resisting arrest and mouthing off, she totally deserved to be, treated that way.
Yeah. The first tackle is obviously you don't want to see that, but they're restraining her. Usually when they do that, they want to have her on the ground. The second one, it's insanity. What could she have possibly said or done to him to do that? And then,
especially because at that point, I'm sure that they realize that she doesn't have a weapon or anything, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, they already basically have. There are two officers, keep that in mind. And she's a 34-year-old woman. She looks pretty small, right? They already have control of her. Like, what could she have possibly done in that moment?
There's
that was so dangerous that they had to body slam her like that. And then the fist bump?
No, thank God they did the fist bump, because without that, you could make the case that maybe they felt so threatened, but the fact that they're celebrating it, it's a done deal. They're going to be fired because of this, because you can't have fun with it. You can't make a game out of it when you're committing violence like this against women, particularly innocent women.
Well, thankfully, they are being investigated. Police Chief Charlie Beck said the following: "My initial review of the officers' statements and the recorded video caused me to have serious concerns about the use of force. We will investigate this thoroughly and hold our officers accountable for their actions."
Now, this does bring up the point of, like, sometimes I kind of wish we didn't have as many cameras, because we're exposed, particularly since we're in the media, we're exposed to so much terrible footage of things going on. But also, don't get it mixed up. Just because we're seeing this stuff go on doesn't mean that they're doing it more now necessarily. We're just seeing it. For all we know, they were doing it for decades, and we just didn't have footage of it.
Right.
So I guess in a way it is a good thing that we see so much more of this, and is it any wonder that the police are so often trying to stop people from filming them?
That's actually a great point, because now with all of these smartphones, I don't know if that was smartphone footage. It looked like it was a different camera, maybe a surveillance camera.
Yeah, from a building nearby.
Yeah, from a building nearby. But I definitely notice that we are hearing about this more and more because people have access to cameras. They just take footage of it with their phones, and then they are able to share it with the authorities, and then the investigations take place. And I think that that is absolutely critical in this day and age. I think it's important. It allows us to hold members of the police department accountable for their actions. If they're getting paid with our tax dollars, I think it's absolutely acceptable for us to hold them accountable and use surveillance, especially when they're in a public setting.
Yeah.
If we don't have any reasonable expectation of privacy when we're in a public setting, why should police officers, while they're getting paid with our tax dollars?
Every time we do a story about police brutality, in the comment section, there's always some jerk-offs who say, "Oh, you don't understand. You liberals, you don't understand what police go through." I know what they go through. I was a prosecutor. I work with police officers all the time, and they go through a lot. And the vast majority of them do their best to do a dangerous job. But when I see stuff like this, it turns my stomach. And what I don't understand are those other cops who see this, and instead of calling them out for it, try to protect them. Now, come on, two big guys body slamming a woman twice and then fist bumping like you're something. I mean, what a bunch of cowards, complete pieces of shit. If I were a police officer, I would do everything I can to bust these guys, because they're making me look bad. I'm putting my life on the line, doing an honorable, noble job, and these jerk-offs are making me look bad by doing stupid shit like this. It's unacceptable, and I just don't understand why the police themselves don't crack down more on the bad ones within their ranks, because they really give police a bad name. Because this is what people see, and thank God we have cameras.
Yeah, absolutely. I love the cameras, and I love that people have access to it more and more.